Hello! This is my advocacy project, which I chose to do on Screen Time with Intent. It is supported by the NAEYC and the Fred Rogers Institute Center for Learning. And this particular presentation refers to the use of screen time in early childhood settings, which is birth to age 8, and that includes primary education. So using Chromebooks and smartboard technology in school, which should be mandated with intent. All right.
All right.
And we'll cut off the very end.
Wait.
And
wait.
now.
How?
And what I'll
Why
do
isn't
is
it?
I'll pop to the next one, and then you can start again. And it'll look like.
All right, the schema for this presentation is the background information necessary for you to understand the material presented. So, screen time is a phrase that denotes and quantifies how much time a person has spent not moving passively in front of the screen. There's no interaction, there's no connection. The non-screen based sedentary time are instances where a child or a person is involved in time away from the screen but still sedentary. And it's recommended by most childhood experts that this non-screen based sedentary time be spent with quality connections and opportunities to explore analog interests. Sedentary screen time, as I said, does not include activity-based screen games because there is connection and movement of their body. The World Health Organization, which recommends that children underage get no hours of screen time, none, 0 to age 1, and children younger than 5, which is mainly 3 to 5, get less than 1 hour a day. This is the baseline of developmentally appropriate practice for pre-K through age 8, which is grade 3, and there's nothing for 0 to 5 because the World Health Organization recommends 0 screen time. So there should be no implementation of screen time in schools that service 0 to 5. These are the basic requirements for age 8 and grade 3. There are a lot more because there's more expectation and more experience with technology. The thing that I find most telling of the way that the world moves is that the boys and girls have equal opportunity and encouragement to use computers because encouraging girls to use STEM not only increases their feelings of self-confidence, but the environment encourages everyone to grow. Effective practice includes technology being used by infants and toddlers is safe, sturdy, and doesn't damage easily because toddlers and infants are so rough and tumble with their gross motor skills. They have to be able to use technology that is suited to them. If it has to be used, it has to be used, like I said, in interactions with an adult. And it needs to be avoided at all costs, passive screen time. Screen time wherein there are not adult-to-child connections made, they're not exploring, they're not using their body. The advantages of using screen time with intent are numerous, and these are only a few. The interest in STEM, as I said, is beneficial for everyone involved because when you have an interest in STEM, you can follow it up with more and more careers that are growing and flourishing in this new digital-based age, especially in this time where digital-based communications are everything. The technology literacy and problem-solving skills, especially in a time like this, are vital because without technology literacy, there can be students that don't know how to use their required methods of completing their assignments, and problem-solving skills, they have to be able to work around the situations that arise in situations like this. And the documentation is more about individualizing each lesson, so that each student has the way to explain their findings on their own terms and through their own eyes. Screen time are not so much the actual screen time, but how to implement it. So the equity of it, which is not just boys and girls, but there's also the socioeconomic symptoms that come with not everyone being able to afford technology at home. Even having an internet connection is a privilege, and it's one that in this time is being realized that it's not a privilege, it is a utility like lights and power. So that is an issue that needs to be overcome to help propel screen time into something that can be utilized at its fullest extent. Going forward, the other ones are the literacy, which is adults knowing how to use literacy and knowing how to help students and children in their care to achieve the STEM requirements of the program. The digital citizenship is the way that adults and children interact in the online ecosphere because it is so different from the analog atmosphere. And the final one is training and professional development. Because the internet is still being explored and consumed by so many people every day, there needs to be a lot of training and professional development to help protect children. This information is from the Fred Rogers and NAEYC adoption of screen time with intent. So they said that technology and interactive media are here to stay, which means we need to be able to accept and include technology and interactive media in the curriculum, but they also need to make sure that we're being used intentionally to make sure that we keep them in the framework of developmentally appropriate practice for every age. The last thing is that they are a part of the context and they must be included in the developmentally appropriate framework. All right, ready? This is again from the Fred Rogers and NAEYC adoption stance. And above all, like the developmentally appropriate practice code of conduct from the NAEYC, the use of technology and interactive media should not harm children. Above all, that is paramount, and it is the basis of everything. So developmentally appropriate practices, they have to be appropriate to the child. They need to be selected with every ounce of curriculum in mind to make sure that we use the software and the screen time with all of the intent we can muster. The age, developmental needs, interests, and abilities of each child is huge because by taking that into account, you can individualize the lesson to make sure that it meets the needs of every child. Mm-hmm. The effective uses of technology and media are active, connection-based, and they use technology as a backdrop, not the method. It's there to support their learning and encouragement of exploration. As evidenced by the times in which teachers are teaching over Zoom lectures, technology tools can make home and school connections stronger and bring it all together to teach the whole child. This is an organization that I found really helpful when looking for my positional stance on the issue. The Campaign for Commercial-Free Childhood, it has done monumental work in the early childhood spectrum in that they want to reduce the amount of marketing towards children. They're the only organization working to end marketing towards children. They made Disney refund thousands of families because of their claims made by the Baby Einstein videos, and they've also worked with Nickelodeon and NFL to lower the harmful marketing strategies they use to positively affect children. All right. In conclusion, children under the age of 2 should have 0 minutes of screen time, and children aged 3 to 5 should have no more than 1 hour of sedentary screen time. This is recommended for their development, and when sedentary screen time is mentioned, it's obviously not a hard and fast rule. It's just what's best for the child. Non-sedentary screen time with intention and activity is encouraged, because any way to encourage children to interact and connect with those, especially right now, that's the only way we can connect with those that are close to us but physically far away from us. Screen time used with infants and toddlers should be used in conjunction with an adult caretaker interaction. So it's vital that when you give an infant a technologically advanced toy, you don't just give it to them and walk away. You engage with them. You let them take the lead on the playtime so that they can express themselves and use their body. And the final thing is that barriers prevent compulsory technology education, which is why right now it's not as interlaced with everything as it probably would be eventually. But it's here to stay. So we have to get used to integrating it and including it and teaching with it in an effective and positive way. All right, these are my references. I have the NAEYC and the Fred Rogers PDF, the About page for the Campaign for Commercial-Free Childhood, and the guidelines on physical activity, behavior, and sleep for children under 5 years of age from the World Health Organization. Thank you. Hope you all stay safe and see you soon. Bye.